Once upon a time, there was a little boy who could sing and dance on the outside, but secretly, in his inside, he was lonely. But as he grew up, despite all this terrible loneliness, he found that singing and dancing had made him very rich, with an estimated fortune of over $700 million. And with all that money in the bank, Michael Jackson went on the mother of all spending sprees, buying an extensive array of surgical masks, pet chimpanzees, a new face. He bought art.
This is one of what we call soft sculptures, typical of what Michael Jackson would have been purchasing.
And the rights to other people's music. He also spent millions in legal battles.
Michael sued me for $100 million.
And even bought a kingdom.
When you're a pop music star and you live in a house called Neverland, that's pretty far out.
He started buying visions of the things he wished he'd had.
Here's Michael, Macaulay Culkin right here.
And bought dreams of the things he wished to become.
And this one represents him being crowned.
But then the money ran out, and with spiralling debts of over $200 million and counting, he decided to put it all up for auction. Welcome to the world of Michael Jackson's things.
Only in Neverland would some of these items go together. You have this amazing artwork next to a life-size wax figure. This is really a great piece. How many people could fit this in their living room? I don't know.
But suddenly, Michael completely changed his mind and wanted it all back again. So he sued the auctioneers for taking his stuff, but he lost the case and ended up settling with them to return everything. But for the briefest time here, we got an exclusive, tantalising glimpse at the roller coaster ride that surrounds Michael Jackson and his possessions. The things he didn't want us to see or buy.
When you see the kind of stuff that people buy over a period of time, if there are no constraints on their buying, and there isn't in the case of Michael Jackson, you do get a window on the human mind.
This is the incredible tale of the man and his money. The lovely things he bought, the people he touched, with cash.
I almost shit when I got this.
And the auction that never was. Amazing, isn't it? Thousands of possessions once belonging to a man who once ruled the world of pop, now all on display here in Beverly Hills, ready to be sold to the highest bidder.
This is a Neverland carriage. What I like about it, it's decked out with speakers and stereo system, so it looks like a vintage carriage, but it's actually a modern piece of transportation up at Neverland. It's an industrial, top-of-the-line, doesn't get any better than this cappuccino machine. Granny, unfortunately, hopefully not to insult her, but we estimate her $600 to $800, but because of the Michael Jackson factor, she's worth a lot more.
Items that map the story of a boy who became a man, who became lonely, who then became a king, who thought he was a god, who turned into a god-king thing.
If you're a Michael Jackson fan and collector, this is the holy grail out of all the items that you'd want, and that's his famous white glove that he wore in many performances of Billie Jean. It's a heavily gem-encrusted crown. If you notice, it has the MJ logo on it, and it's on a royal pillow. So he'd have some of the items like that on display throughout Neverland.
But above all, they map the story of a man who bought an awful lot of stuff, decided to sell it, then changed his mind and got it all back. Surprisingly, it's not the first time Jackson has fought to stop all his things ending up on display. The story of how they got there last time involves electric guitars, lawsuits, never-before-heard Jackson recordings, and letters to Elizabeth Taylor. But to find out how all this unfolded, we need to meet the man behind this door, and he isn't very happy.
My name's Henry Vaccaro, and I went through hell trying to collect my money from Michael and the rest of his family.
But he wasn't always so cross with the Jackson family. In fact, Henry used to be chairman of Kramer. The company used to supply the band with guitars, and he did so for years to come. But in 1992, his company faced bankruptcy, and so Henry was delighted when the guitar-loving Jacksons stepped in saying they wished to buy the company.
They made the first payment of $200,000 in a timely fashion. The next payment is due. They defaulted. They got nothing, I got nothing. So I sued them. And I sued their company and perceived and got a judgment of $1.4 million against the family company.
After losing the lengthy courtroom battle, the Jacksons declared they couldn't afford to pay Henry the $1.4 million, so he turned to a private detective for help.
I had to hire a detective and a lawyer to find hidden assets. And they found a warehouse located in Oxnard, California, full of family memorabilia. This is just a little smattering of some of the memorabilia. For example, this is a platinum Motown record to Michael for I'll Be There. This is a crazy photo here of Michael with a little boy with machine guns. This is a crazy annulment letter from somebody who alleges that she's Michael's wife. So I can't comment too much on it, but it's nutty. There's letters in here to Elizabeth Taylor. There's just a myriad of things. This is authorization for somebody to have a nose job. This is a tube of skin bleach that was found, and it was used by Michael to treat his vitiligo. And this was in his wardrobe case, along with stage costumes and a bulletproof vest. I had all his old bank accounts. I mean, they were Joseph Jackson, trustee for Michael Jackson, with $1 million deposits in all these banks. A weekly financial statement that he would get from his auditor, which showed at the time some $30 or $40 million in securities and where they were. And all. I mean, I shouldn't have that stuff, but it was in there. I mean, I'm going to read it. So, you know, he was very well off.
But it's in a quiet recording studio just a short drive away that maybe Henry's most valuable Jackson artifact lies.
Well, here we are. This is the vault. This is where the real memorabilia is, what we consider the holy grail of music. Original master recording tapes of Jackson 5 and Michael Jackson music when he was a real Michael Jackson, 15, 16 years old, and we have it here under lock and key, climate controlled, and I feel honored. And I feel honored that it's in the right place. Really do. And just think, I would have settled for $100,000, but they said you're getting nothing.
But Michael, worried with what Henry was now in possession of, tried to get it all back by taking yet more legal action.
Michael sued me for $100 million. He had brilliant attorneys, and I mean, I almost shit when I got this. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I was sued for conversion, for copyright infringement, for false designation, violation of statutory rights, misappropriation, constructive relief, violation of privacy, cyber squatting. I mean, stuff I never even dreamed of. So, but I beat him. How did I beat him? Because he never paid his lawyer.
But sometimes forgetting to pay pesky people like your lawyers is just part of the story of how Michael Jackson nearly lost all these things. To find out how all this unfolded, we first need to tell the amazing story of how a man got so rich he could buy just about anything, including the childhood he never had.